Yes, folks, greetings. It is my pleasure to come to you with this screencast, which seeks to elaborate on the article which is submitting that OD, or organization development, should be touted as a strategic and operational corporate governance imperative. And why do we submit that as the Center for Organization Leadership and Development? Is because we believe the thinking and incorporation of organization development skills training for directors, C-suites, and managers, and all other work groups in organizations is a strategic imperative for building high-performance organizations. It is important to recognize that change is surely a new constant in the modern business environment. And the business environment tends to be highly volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous for organizations to survive without developing and implementing organization development interventions. And it is against this background that, as the Center for Organization Leadership and Development, we strongly believe that sustainability in complex adaptive systems demands effective change management, which is embedded in the theory and practice of organization development. Most organizations face the challenge of poor organization development initiatives and interventions, and this leads to poor organizational performance. Organizations are failing to achieve maximum capacity utilization as a result of inability to effectively manage change across systems, structures, staff, and the culture within organizations. And in some instances, we recognize that the poor organization development initiatives and interventions are necessitated by inappropriate leadership styles, draconian policies for the workforce, and as a result, it leads to poor change readiness. And as the Center for Organization Leadership and Development, we submit that the absence of clearly defined OD plans in organizations slows down company growth, and it leads to significant loss of market share. And failure to address the OD needs of an organization has significant monetary, fiscal, and social costs to the company and to all its stakeholders. And in this article, we submit three fundamental questions that the article then seeks to explore in greater detail. Question number one is that can organization development be instrumental in crystallizing the future governance model? Question number two is that what can be done to ensure boards understand what nascent organization development tools and techniques bring to organizations? And question number three asks the question, why should organizations incorporate organization development in their strategic and operational roadmaps? And we look at it from a corporate governance perspective, where corporate governance focuses on strategic thinking and strategic leadership roles in organizations. And organizations do face technical and adaptive challenges. And against this understanding, we realize that despite the technical and adaptive challenges facing organizations today, OD is yet to make it into the mainstream corporate governance discussions, literature, and debates. So the article submits that organization development should actually penetrate at a much deeper level the mainstream discussions, literature, and debates on organization development rather. However, based on the increasing uptake of leadership development programs by existing and emerging board leaders, there seems to be astonishing consensus that organization development should be integrated into corporate governance discussions. We can see the number of corporate leaders, existing and emerging leaders, taking up a lot of the leadership development programs, it could be online or face-to-face programs or attending workshops, seminars, and conferences. And this alone exhibits the need for organization development principles, organization development, science, theory, and practice, and the organization development values to be incorporated in corporate management and corporate governance discussions and debates. And it is a truism that organization development is essential to the growth of organizations. Why do we say that? As in our previous screencasts and webinars, we believe that organization development facilitates fact-based decision-making. It cultivates essential leadership skills among those at the higher echelons of an organization. It also addresses the digital complexities prevalent in the corporate sector, and organization development aligns the organization to its operating environment. So this article submits that a failure to develop and implement organization development interventions as strategic and operational corporate governance imperatives leads to standard growth, as the company will be incapacitated to resolve the complex emergent organizational issues, and this will prolong chaos, which according to chaos theory, it states that organizations are actually disorganized and unordered structures. And a failure to incorporate OD into corporate governance discussions and debates also promotes conflict among stakeholders, and this has a rippling effect as it limits management innovation. So we submit that despite the seemingly competent and compliant corporate boards in organizations, it could be C-suites, executives, and managers, there seem to be increased level of fragmentation across most organizations' strategy, structure, processes, people, and reward systems. And the seemingly lack of congruence across these essential elements of the organization is repugnant to business growth and the organization's capacity to innovate and self-renew. And this runs contrary to the need to address the technical and adaptive challenges that organizations are actually facing rather. So to provide strategic thinking and strategic leadership in these turbulent times, corporate leaders should diagnose and identify their specific needs and be in a position to deploy the appropriate change management plans. And the key question in this regard that the article also seeks to address is that should boards start using nascent applications that come with artificial intelligence in order to improve decision making? And this article submits that there is an urgent need for organizations to holistically adopt organization development as a strategic and operational corporate governance imperative, and as it may. So the article also submits that the crystallization of corporate governance function in modern organizations requires organizations to embrace the science, the theory, and the practice of organization development as an imperative for building high-performance teams and high-performance organizations. And we purposely use the word embrace because of its nature and the deeper meaning of being in a state of embracing. So empirical literature, we reckon on the skills and roles of corporate directors and executives, places much emphasis on such disciplines as economics, audit, finance, banking, business administration, accounting, and law. And also we recognize that the extent decision-making structures about composition, capacity, and professional development programs focuses on corporate directors and executives, whilst ignoring other key organizational work groups, particularly those that are at the lower level of an organization's hierarchy. So we believe that this exclusive focus on corporate executives and directors in corporate governance discussions has seemingly failed to capture the significance of nascent organization development skills and techniques, and their role in actually building high performance organizations. And the failure to holistically consider organization development skills and techniques in and outside corporate boardrooms significantly affects coherence, adaptability, and organization renewal. And it is these elements that we believe that they need to be captured in order to build high-performing organizations and high-performance teams. So the article therefore discusses the need and significance of organization development skills and techniques among all work groups, C-suites, and directors. Given that OD is not a normative discipline, the promotion of all these skills and techniques among directors, C-suites, managers, and other work groups, we strongly believe as the Center for Organization Leadership that this promotion of such organization development skills will have a tectonic impact on effectiveness of the entire organization in that respect. So sustainability in complex adaptive systems is a function of effective change management, which is embedded in the theory and practice of organization development. Most organizations are involved in the heartless hustle for razor-thin margins, putting short-term profits at the center stage and long-term partnership in the deep seats. The soul of an organization is put in a profit at all cost vice, and the positive spirit of workers is squeezed out. So most leaders and managers in organizations, surely they want to create great teams and great organizations. So they exist this chaos, this disorganized and unordered structures, systems, strategies, and processes. And we believe that the practice of organization development has assumed increased attention as a precondition for organization sustainability and the building of high performance teams. Organization development has become an undoubted practice for resolving the corporate challenges that organizations are facing in this highly volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous business environment. So the objectives of this article on organization development, strategic and operational corporate governance imperative are founded on 4 questions as well, which is why, how, what, and who. And based on these 4, we create the key areas that needs to be addressed. And the 4 main objectives of this particular article, number 1 is to strengthen the capacity of the board of directors, C-suites, and managers in leading consistent and sustainable transformation in organizations. Number 2 is to ensure the development and implementation of structured and integrative institutional corporate governance frameworks embedded in nascent organization development theory and practice. Number 3, to inculcate organization development values and attitudes that enhances sound corporate governance and that facilitate the building of high-performing organizations. And lastly, number 4, to facilitate mastery of technologies, best practices, and organization development interventions that enhance corporate governance and strengthen the corporate sector as a whole. So the thesis of this expository article, in terms of the significance of this article, is it is important in closing the literature gap in the area of organization development, change management, and organizational efficiency. And we also have the main justification of the necessity of organization development in corporate governance is that constancy of change, both planned and emergent change, and the need to incorporate organization development as a strategic imperative in corporate governance. So this is, in short, the article and what we are submitting in this particular article, and why we believe this article is of importance in that respect. So the article will be coming up in one of these open access journals, and we look forward to comments, feedback, and opinions.